We're getting a clearer picture of the scale of Queensland's youth crime crisis this morning, with warnings young offenders are becoming more violent, more brazen. Let's go live to Georgie Chumley in Brisbane. Georgie, good morning to you. Hundreds of teens have been arrested and charged since the new state government took power.
Good morning, Michael. That's right. I mean, it's only been 3 weeks since these laws came in and we have seen an explosion in arrests. 227 juvenile offenders charged on 484 offences. Now, under these new laws, we also know that almost double that in adults have been charged as well. 430 adults on close to 800 charges. And police say that this is a concerning escalation in behaviour here in Queensland. Now, these new laws, it means that there's adult time for adult crime, that young people, well, the minimum sentences for them has been increased for serious offences like murder, manslaughter and break-ins, which we're seeing so many of here in Queensland. Now, the Police Commissioner, Steve Goldcheski, says he believes these laws are working and that they'll continue to work if the system does its bit, but that includes the court. Michael. All
right, Georgie, thank you for that. And the Queensland Premier David Crisafulli joins us a little later this morning. Don't miss that interview live here on Sunrise. Here's Mon.
Thanks, Marsh. Well, Hollywood star Russell Crowe has tried to hose down reports that he's still looking to sell his multi-million-dollar stake in the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Let's go live to Andrew McCormack, who's in Maroubra. Now, Macca, there are reports that the Hollywood star has been speaking with a US investor.
Morning, Mon. Well, he's hit out at these reports, but certainly stopped well short of flat out denying them. On X, Rusty has labelled any talk he's going to sell his share in the Rabbitohs as a conspiracy theory, telling fans to ignore the trolls. He says with Wayne Bennett back on board, there's a fresh energy about the place, an arrowhead for our intentions in the upcoming season. So he could have flat out denied them, and he's left, well, a little bit of wriggle room for himself there, has Russell. The club is reportedly well aware of rumours around the fact that he wanted to sell his 25% share for some time now. They're certainly not commenting on it publicly. He's brought, of course, that bit of Hollywood swagger to the Rabbitohs ever since he became one of their financial savers almost 20 years ago. If he did sell his 25% share, which was around a $3 million investment almost 20 years ago, it would yield a pretty handy return, estimated to be worth some $15 to $20 million today. Of course, if Rusty does sell, what does that mean for James Packer's share, another high-profile part owner? So that's just another interesting and intriguing subplot to what is a big season for the Rabbitohs. Of course, Wayne Bennett back on board, the first of his 3-year deal as they look to climb back up the ladder after a disastrous 2024 season. But the plot thickens here at Maroubra. Mon and Michael.
That'll be very interesting indeed. All right, Macca, thank you.
The Bunny's #1 fan, the Prime Minister's on the show a little later. We might ask him.
Yes, let's definitely ask him what he thinks and the impact.
All right, let's get some more news now. Here's Sal.
In breaking news this morning, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has resigned. The 53-year-old is stepping down as leader of the ruling Liberal Party, but will remain Prime Minister until a new leader is chosen. Trudeau has been leader of Canada's Liberal Party for 11 years and Prime Minister for 9. He has been under increasing pressure in recent months following Donald Trump's tariff threats and the resignation of key allies. Breaking news back home, one person has died in a house fire west of Brisbane overnight. Crews arrived before 10 o'clock to the home in Warwick in the Southern Downs, finding a large amount of smoke pouring from the building.
The smoke was very thick, and we had a very low neutral plane, the neutral plane being where the smoke, the denseness of the smoke meets fresh air, and that was down quite low. So survivability without breathing apparatus in that house was very low.
A crime scene has been set up while police investigate the cause. 2 brothers will face court this morning accused of the shooting murder of a young woman in Brisbane's north 2 weeks ago. They were arrested at a park in front of shocked families. Arrest warrants issued just days ago for 29-year-old Cody Thompson and 32-year-old Kane Thompson-Gleeson.
I'm from the Public Safety Response Team. You're currently under arrest for murder. Do you understand?
Police say they gunned down 23-year-old Chloe Jade Mason on a Caboolture Street days before Christmas. Both brothers have been charged with murder. A South Australian woman has survived a terrifying boating accident at sea that took the lives of 2 men, including her husband. Live to Hayden Nelson in Adelaide this morning. Hayden, this is just a tragic story. Do we know what's happened here?
This tragedy has certainly rocked this local community in the state's southeast, which is a popular holiday destination this time of the year. Police and emergency services raced to this beach around midday. Where they arrived, they managed to find the bodies of the two men. An 89-year-old and a 69-year-old had washed up on the beach. They also managed to get to the younger man's wife, a 59-year-old woman who incredibly managed to swim from the boat to shore. She was taken to the hospital. She is the sole survivor. Police and the SES spent hours at the beach yesterday trying to find out what exactly caused this boat to overturn. This group were experienced local fishers who'd been coming to the area for about 3 decades, and while conditions were windy, they still don't know exactly what caused this tragedy at sea. It's also understood one of the men had suffered a massive family tragedy recently, just compounding all of this.
All right, thank you very much. Hayden Nelson there. A man who shot at police in a botched underworld hit has been extradited to New South Wales from Queensland. Paya Tuanua was arrested at Brisbane Airport, allegedly trying to leave the country. It's alleged he broke into the home of an organised crime figure last week in Sydney's southwest before fleeing the scene and shooting at police while in pursuit. He's due to face Downing Centre Court this morning. To incredible video now of the moment a brave Melbourne woman filmed and chased a brazen intruder from her home. Let's go live to Tegan Doling in Melbourne. Tegan, the intruder was so caught off guard in this instance, he left empty-handed.
He did, Sally. So the intruder was busted mid-break-in when Flora Sukratus, who is the homeowner, woke on Sunday morning to what she believes was her window being opened up. She ran into the kitchen. That's when she came face to face with this stranger, and she whipped out her phone and pressed record.
How did you get into my home? How did you get, what's in your bag?
He was not impressed.
What did he say to you?
He just said, "Don't record me." And that's when he was losing it.
She said in hindsight probably wouldn't think about recording again because she just simply got so close to the man. She didn't know whether he was armed. She said it's the first time in 50 years inside her Windsor home that she's began to feel unsafe. As you said, Sally, he actually didn't get away with anything. The only thing that he did do, and it's actually a little bit bizarre, is he went and put food in Flora's cat's bowl, but police say that's a well-known tactic by criminals when they're breaking into the home to try and keep pets quiet. At least now police have some evidence for the man that they're looking for.
Yeah, indeed. Intriguing story. All right, thanks very much. Tegan Doling there. Police are hunting a pack of people who set off flares in Perth, sparking a blaze. The 30-strong crowd, who appear to be heading to a Perth Glory game on December 27, were tracked by CCTV along Pier Street. A man wearing a balaclava is just one of multiple people who ignited the flares. The stunt then set fire to shrubs outside Perth's Children's Court. There's fresh hope this morning for an interest rate cut as early as next month, with economists optimistic that the monthly inflation rate will be lower than the Reserve Bank's target. Let's cross live to Bethan Yeoman in Canberra. Hello to you, Bethan. This is certainly good news for struggling Australian families.
It sure is, Sally. After more than a year of the RBA keeping its cash rate target on hold at 4.35%, economists are forecasting at least a 1.25 percentage point cut in 2025, which is great news for anyone with a mortgage. Inflation is the main marker for the Reserve Bank, and that figure will rest on key data revealed tomorrow, which is tipped to beat expectations. But the decision will also be based on how households were spending over the holiday period, rents, electricity and any developments including overseas, including China's economy and potential tariffs from incoming US President Donald Trump. 2 cuts this year would take around $150 a month off a $500,000 mortgage. The RBA's first meeting of the year is in February, and there's hope the first cut could come as early as then. Sally.
All right, let's hope so. Thanks for that, Bethan.